Tonight's tea is going to be a chicken and mushroom risotto. All the ingredients are in the description of the video underneath this post. So let's get cracking. First job is to start cooking our onions. We've got some diced onions, just straight into the olive oil. We're just going to sweat them down. So on a kind of a medium to low heat, you're just going to cook them until they start going translucent. So once the onions are cooked, we're then going to add our rice. So we've got 150 grams of rice, roughly 75 grams a person is a normal portion, and we're going to pop that in, and we're going to do what the Italians call tostatura. So that means toast the rice. Correct. What you'll start to hear is the rice almost popping, and what we say is that we want to hear the rice singing as it cooks. What's really important when you're cooking risotto rice is that your stock that you're going to add to it is hot. Because if it's cold, then every time you put it in, you lower the heat in the risotto, and then it stops it cooking. What you want is it to be cooking continuously, so make sure your stock is hot. So we've got some chicken stock, which is on the stove, and then I've also got some porcini stock, which is from the dried porcini mushrooms that we've used. I poured some boiling water over those, 500 ml, so that's still hot. And then I've drained the mushrooms out. So those are our porcini mushrooms that have been refreshed in some hot water, so that they've gone soft. And then I've kept the stock. I drained the stock off them through a sieve, and then kept that. So if you have a look in here, you can see it's starting to get a little bit of colour on that rice there. That's what we're looking for, because we're toasting it. You don't want much colour, you just want it to start toasting. That's going to start the cooking process of the rice. And then once you get to that point, so we're about 5 minutes in cooking wise now, we're then going to add our wine. And you'll see the pan's really hot because we've been toasting that rice. Add your wine and give it a stir. And then we're going to let that wine reduce so that we cook off all the alcohol, and then we'll start gradually adding the stock. Most of our wine is now gone out of the pan. So we're going to start adding our stock. So the first time, just cover your rice with the stock, and then you're just going to add it a ladle at a time as you go through. This process will take 12 to 15 minutes. You need to keep stirring it pretty much all the time. An Italian chef once told me that if you don't work up a sweat whilst making risotto, you're not making it right. While our risotto rice is cooking, keep stirring it all the time. We're going to cook our chicken and our mushrooms that are going to go into our risotto at the end. I'm using clarified butter. You can use oil. Doesn't really make a difference, just get a bit more flavour out of the clarified butter, that's all. Add in your chicken. And just fry that off with some salt and pepper. And then what we're looking for is that to start to go brown. When it does, we'll add in our mushrooms. You kind of run out of moisture in your pan, just add another ladle of stock. Put the mushroom stock in there as well. If you don't have mushroom stock, that's alright, just use chicken stock or veg stock. Every time the water disappears or the stock disappears, just add another ladle until your rice is cooked. Starting to get a little bit of colour on our chicken. So to that I'm going to add our porcini mushrooms. Then we've got soft through and our chestnut mushrooms as well. Again, don't worry if you don't have more than one type of mushroom. If It's just all the different types of mushrooms just all add extra flavour. So what we're trying to do with the rice is cook every single grain. That's why you need to mix it so much. You just need to keep constantly stirring it because you're trying to cook every single grain of rice that's in there. And again, as soon as the moisture's gone, add a touch more stock and just keep repeating that process over and over again until your rice is cooked. Our rice is pretty much cooked at this point. I'm just going to add a touch of salt and pepper to the rice. We've already seasoned our chicken and our mushrooms. So we can add them in now. I'm not going to use quite all of that because we've got quite a lot there. Give that a good mix. And then the final part of the risotto is called the manticatura stage, which basically means to beat. So I've got some diced butter and some hard Parmesan cheese, grated Parmesan cheese. It's just going to go in there. I've turned the heat off at this point and we're literally just going to give it a good mix and a beat. That Parmesan cheese is going to add some extra flavour and the butter is just going to give it a nice shine. And once that's done, you can have another taste, see what it's like for consistency. Mine's probably a little bit on the dry side, so I'm just going to add a little touch more stock in there. And then we're going to be ready to plate that up. Okay, so to plate up with risotto, just always put your first spoon in the middle and then just spoon on the top. And then just a sprinkle of chopped parsley over the top. And there you go, that's your chicken and mushroom risotto.